starting to lay out our walls, and what we're doing there is we're taking diagonal measurements, making sure we're square, and pulling our lines off the side here to make sure we are all square and everything's gonna be good measurements. So this is another important detail that we're doing. A real big place that you'll have a lot of air leaks is right here between your concrete foundation and your wall. So instead of using something like the tape, which might not stick to the concrete as good, what we used here is this zip liquid flash. And so the sheathing was held a 1/4 inch off of the concrete there, and then we caulked that with the liquid flash and got a real good nice air seal all the way around. So we're gonna get that air sealed, and what normally is a very big problem spot for houses, this is gonna be a super awesome seal right here. So we're not gonna have to worry about air coming in here, especially right at the floor. If you're ever in a house and even if the HVAC is on and it's warm, but yet your feet are real cold because the floors are cold, that's one of the reasons why, is because this air leak that's usually right here that gets under and goes into that floor right there and gets your floor cold. So this is gonna keep the floors nice and comfortable, and it's gonna keep the HVAC system running real efficient too. So here we are framing our garage walls now. So because we're going on the foundation back here, we are not, no foundation is exactly perfect. So each stud is a little bit different. So what we did is we put our corner boards up there and shot that with a level to make sure they're the same height of all of our other walls and here. And then we put a string in between both of them, and then we are measuring each stud individually, so that way we make sure the top of our wall is nice, straight, and level, so that our trusses don't go up and down or anything like that. So we didn't have to do that in here because when we put down our floor joist and our plates, we made sure that all of those were level. We planed some of our plates to get any humps or anything out that might have came through with the foundation. And then when we put our floor joists on top of that, we even went back with a level and made sure that all those floor joists were flat and straight and level. So that way we built all of these walls in here. All these studs are exactly the same length. So if our floor is flat and level and all these studs are exactly the same length, and that's gonna make our top plate with the trusses sit on nice and straight, so we can get a really good product. So we have had a very productive week, a week with no rain, and because of no rain, we've been able to get a lot done this week. So we have all our exterior walls up. All of our exterior walls are bearing. The trusses are gonna be set on. They're all braced. So we have braces every 5 foot. And when we put the braces up, we have a big plate level that we put our level on the wall to make sure our walls are nice and plumb, and then shoot them in place. Couple nails at the top, couple nails at the bottom. This here block is nailed straight into the joist, and the brace is nailed into that block, so it's not going anywhere. So that way, once we put our trusses on, the wall will stay nice and plumb. So our walls are all buttoned up on the exterior. We have all of our zip system there, and we go ahead and we tape, we flash, so everything's going to be nice and airtight, so we don't have to think about that. Same thing in here with our garage walls. They're all up too, and so these like the house walls are all going to be bearing as far as trusses sitting on them. So the only exterior walls we did were walls in between the house and the garage, because these are bearing as well, so the trusses will be sitting on that. So the load of the trusses goes all the way down, transfers to the foundation wall here, so they won't be going anywhere, and we have this all braced up and ready to go. Another thing we had to frame for trusses is this front porch gets trusses too. So here we have 2 LVLs, double LVLs, laminated veneered lumber that those trusses are going to sit on. So we have the LVL going into the house and sitting on some posts in there carrying the load, and then a big old 6x6 carrying the load too. So we have a J hook that we put into the concrete, which has threads on it, so that way it's locked into the concrete, sitting on top of the foundation to transfer that load. And then that J hook comes up, and we have a plate there on the bottom of our 6x6, and that is bolted to that J hook and then nailed to the 6x6. So it carries that load, and it's not going to go anywhere. We're not going to get any uplift from the wind or anything. So this big LVL here goes all the way inside. I'll show you this. And we are sitting on 2x4s here. We didn't go 2x6s because we have plenty of bearing with 3.5 inches, and that way we're able to put a little bit of insulation in front of this beam, so we don't have a large mass of wood here, which is not as well insulated as the insulation that we'll put in front of that. Now this beam going inside is a point we wanted to make sure was sealed up real well, because we have our nice zip system, our envelope here, which is all sealed up and there's our air barrier. So we made a hole in our envelope, so we wanted to make sure we sealed it up. So we sealed around the edges all the way around that LVL, but also before we put that LVL together, because it's nailed together, right there where it goes into the wall, I put some more of that liquid flash in between them. So you're not even gonna get air going in between that LVL there, between both of them into the house and penetrating our envelope. So we have our back screened in porch that gets 2x12 sitting on top of these beams, the beams that we put in that are set in that concrete there. And so those are gonna go on top of those posts, and they're notched in, so that will carry the load nicely, and we will bolt them right to that. Same thing back here we're gonna do. We gotta make a couple holes in our house and put it through and have some beams on there. So this is gonna be our back porch. It's going to be a lovely spot. Just look at this back view. Such a nice piece of property. All right, so here we got after our windows are already all framed. So we frame our windows 3/4 of an inch bigger than what the rough opening calls for the window, and that 3/4 of an inch bigger on the bottom. The reason we do that is because we'll come back and we get this cheap bevel siding, and we put it on it, thick side towards the back and thin side so that in the front, so that makes the water, any water that gets in, go out from the building out to the outside. So now what we're doing is we're using our zip stretch tape here. So it goes along with the whole zip system. We got our zip board or zip tape, and the zip stretch tape is really nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna peel half of this here. Fold it in half, and I'm gonna start center of the window. Wind's giving a little trouble. So this is cut a foot bigger. So I want to make sure I come out at least 6 inches on the side. This has to be stretched up just a little bit. So it's down there. I'm going to peel this front side now. It's all peeled. Bring this straight over. Bring the center down. this. And then I'm gonna stretch this here. Just like that. Stretch this. Here, what's really nice about this stuff, it stretches in all directions. And then it doesn't stick to itself too bad. Like if you accidentally have it stick to itself, you can peel it. It's still not fun, but compared to some other tapes, some butyl tapes and stuff I've used, that it's impossible when it sticks to itself. You can kind of peel it away. So after I get that right here, so this is stretched here in the corner. Don't forget, roll the tape. And this window is bomb-proof. Ain't no water problems happening with this. So one thing we did to get a real good waterproof seal as well is we went ahead and we liquid flashed all of our nail holes and any penetrations in our zip system. We also went ahead and put zip tape around there before the windows so we can get a good air seal on the windows on the inside. This and this isn't necessary, but it helps to just take the house to the next level and produce a real good airtight, comfortable house. So we had a couple days before the trusses were to get here. We were framing the basement down here, get all this good to go. So what we did is we came down here and we laid everything out with a laser, and then we had all of our plates. So we put our plates down, we drilled, these are pressure treated plates, we drilled them, and then we put these little anchors, mushroom head anchors into the plates. After we had our plates down, we took a laser and lasered straight up and got our top plates down and then stick framed in between them. We did this so that our plates are tight at the top, but we cut all of our studs 1/8 of an inch short. So that way any compression and anything, it allows that wall to move up and down so you don't get any problems with anything as far as any buckling in the floors, and it allows for movement with seasonal changes as well. So these exterior foundation walls where the foundation is exposed, we went ahead and put 1/2 inch foil faced insulation, and we made sure we foil taped all of our seams. Now this is also gonna get batt insulation, fiberglass insulation in these walls as well, but that's just to keep our house nice and comfortable in here as well. So we pretty much got all of the basement framing mostly finished up, most of our doors and stuff. We got a couple little things to go back and do here and there. There's kind of some punch out framing and some fine tweaking with framing, but all the main walls, doorways and everything are up here in the basement. So that way we can start rock and rolling on trusses when they get here. All right, today was a good day because we had all of our trusses show up. So basically we got all the walls ready for trusses. Once again, we put up all these beams and stuff for the trusses. So we will be putting those up next week. There's a few things I'll show you we got to prepare for as far as to get those trusses before we can just start craning them up. Next week I'll show you, we'll have a crane in here. We're gonna boom those up. So that'll be on the next video. So I hope you like this part. Don't forget to like and subscribe, follow me on YouTube, and thanks for watching.